to the Eagle Eye Podcast. The #1 show to bring you all things Club America in English.
Oh, strike! Club America!
Your hosts for today are Ivan Pineda, Cristian Rosendo, Alexis Juarez, and everyone's favorite cowboy, Dylan Jimenez. Now let's hit the field and start the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to yet another episode of the Eagle Eye Podcast. We are going to be here sitting in our woes and our sorrows as we recap everything that happened against Monterrey and everything that happened against Cruz Azul. And joining me, as always, are my two co-hosts from New York. It is Cristian Rosendo and Alexis Juarez. Gentlemen, how are we tonight?
Bad. Don't talk to me tonight.
I'm not trying to talk to you tonight, but as obligation that we do have to our listeners, we're here to recap these two games and we're here to preview the upcoming match. So unfortunately, Christian, I will have to talk to you. AJ.
Well, in other news though, I'm just not feeling well either, so maybe that's why. But I hope everyone else is feeling well. I hope everyone else is over this terrible week. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Just know that there will be some foul language tonight. Just saying it. Just saying it.
All right. Your discretion is advised from here on out. AJ?
I'm doing okay. We're in the middle of the week, we're in the middle of the week, so it's almost the weekend, so I'm looking forward to that.
Why are you looking forward to yet another America defeat? Is that what you're telling me, AJ?
I'm just waiting for Chucho Lopez to start again, dude. That's all I'm
God.
waiting for.
Don't even no. I'm gonna mute your microphone after that.
For.
Well, gentlemen, we're not alone in this one as we brought in yet a recurring expert on here. He is more responsible for face swaps on Twitter than Leatherface himself. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back to the pod, the carnicero himself, Brian. Brian, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. When I get sad, I do a lot of face swaps because I want to hide my feelings. You know what I mean? It's not my true self.
I love it. Been plenty of face swaps on Twitter. Can't say that I'm not entertained by it.
Blame Miguel. That's who got me into it. Okay.
Okay. I will. Now we know
foot cult addicts. You know.
Foot cult. All right. We're gonna add him that next time. We got Chris saying Brian is here. Can we negotiate the OBJ release?
Yep. Yeah, we could do that too. It's been a great week, guys. The sports have been great.
Yeah, no. The sports god have definitely looked down upon us and has frowned. I don't know what we did wrong. I don't know if we have to sacrifice Christian or AJ in order to make up for our wrongs here. I don't know what's going on, but gentlemen, let's just get this done and over with. Let's just rip off the Band-Aid. Let's recap what happened against Monterrey in the CONCACAF Champions League. If you had to sum it up in 3 words, Christian, what would they be?
Disorganized, non-creative, stupid.
All right. AJ?
We dragged ass.
We dragged ass. I like it. Yeah. Brian?
A complete disaster.
A complete disaster. I'm going to go with no heart shown.
That's a good one.
I like that.
No heart shown. AP Junior saying, can we vote as to who we sacrifice? And that's a great Twitter poll. We're going to get our producer, Dylan, onto this. So, Dylan, if you're listening to this, can you start a Twitter poll as to who we need to sacrifice in order to please the the sporting gods and hopefully bringing America a championship at the end of the year? But going back to this game, it was not what we hyped it up to be, Christian. What went wrong? Like, this didn't feel like a final from an America perspective. Like, even from the get-go, like, it just flat out just was flat in the opening minutes. Defense looked shakier than ever. I mean, you see the mistake Cáceres makes, which we'll get into because it's not his first big mistake in a big match.
Yeah.
But what went wrong for the Solari side?
I couldn't even tell you honestly. Like you said, just coming out of the gate, they were missed passes, just bad touches everywhere. Every defender making at least one mistake, I think, in the first 10 minutes of the game. It was definitely not a good way to start a final, and I think that kind of just sets the tone for the rest of the match. Like I said, I really don't even know how to explain that because that is just something I don't think we've ever seen this season from this side, and of course it had to happen in a final, right? So I guess this whole attitude just carries over into Sunday as well. Even though we played a little bit better Sunday, but that's for later. But this match is just this. I'm speechless, honestly. That's how bad this game was and how wrong we were about this final.
I mean, speechless is the correct word. I mean, we talked about it at halftime. It just looked like this was just a shock in general for these players. I mean, Brian, I don't even know that they even knew they were going out to play a final.
Yeah, that's what it kind of looked like. So as soon as they started getting pressed, they was almost like confused, like they've never played before. Like it was you just made a rec team, and you're like, well, who do I pass to? That's what it looked like, and Monterrey was just so comfortable. And the sad thing is they score off a goal that was so unbelievably defendable. So it's like you let the one goal in that wasn't even a miraculous play. It was just a whiff. And that's all they needed. And America just couldn't find anything. And Monterrey was like, fine, send in crosses. You guys ain't going to break us down. We're happy with this. So they just were confused, it looked like.
I didn't think we even played Solari ball to begin with. I mean, and this was something that we appraised so much coming into this, AJ, that this is a very well-organized team. Even though we were pragmatic in the sense of, pushing forward, there was at least some organization, some creativity. We had a player like Fidalgo who was supposed to be breaking the lines and supposed to be finding those split passes, yet not even a player like him stepped up in these big games. I mean, the man literally got called for a bad throw-in. I mean, if you want to sum up the night, there you go. It was just it was definitely bad, AJ.
Yeah, no. I just don't even know where to begin. We just looked dead from the get-go, especially after we conceded that goal. We look lifeless out there. Just no one really wanted to play. No one was on their A game. He had a Roger Martinez chance when he got subbed out. He saw Chavarez getting sent to the sidelines by Mesa, which was absolutely disgusting. I was just like, yeah, I think that's every America fan at that moment. They just wanted to head out at that point. And that Cáceres whiff, just awful. And like you mentioned, I mean, it's not the first time we see him do something in a big game and mess up that badly. But to us to lose to one single goal in that fashion is just awful. You look at them and you're like, this is really how we went down in a final. And it seems like defensive mistakes, it comes to haunt us back. 2019, anyone? Monterrey? Jorge Sanchez? This time, went over to Cas. It's like, it's your turn to mess up. Look how it was. His face says it all. He looked down at the grass. He's just like, that just happened. Ochoa's just like, okay, well, it went in then. He wasn't going to get mad. There's not much he can do at that point. And I think Chris mentioned it. Well, if Funes Mori plays against us, he's prime Hugo Sanchez. Even if it was just a tap-in, he did what he had to do and got the job done. So really, for America, awful display.
Can't believe he got man of the match. It's so stupid.
For that tap-in as well.
That's insane.
I mean, look, you knew it was going to be a long night the moment that Guillermo Ochoa had to make a world-class save in the opening 5 minutes of the match. Like, that alone set the tone and was like, okay, this is not going to be our game. I just didn't expect for us to fold under the pressure like that. Okay, yes, we concede such a stupid goal. I get it. But no one's able to lift their head up after that? Is there no leadership in that team outside of the pitch besides your goalkeeper? Like, that's the thing. That's what frustrated me the most. Like I said, heartless performance because no one out there took the effort to say, you know what? Give me the ball. Everyone was shying away from it. Like you mentioned, Brian, it felt like 11 players that just got together and were going to play for the very first time. No one was even daring enough to be like, give me the ball, give me the ball, give me the ball. I'll make something happen. That there was no one out there on that pitch that you could say was at least trying that. And the lack of effort, I think, is what frustrated the most out of everything, Christian.
Yeah, no, definitely. Especially, it doesn't help also that we had, first timers, like Mario Osuna playing in this game.
Oh God.
And it's just, I obviously wasn't a fan of his game on Thursday night. But it just shows you I guess how essential Pedro Aquino is to this midfield. I'm gonna try to keep them at least somewhat organized, somewhat compact, somewhat defensive minded. He was a big loss. It showed on Thursday, and I just really, really hope he's ready enough for the start of the year.
Look, what do you say, Christian? He was at 75% for this match.
I would say around 70. Yeah, around 70. Yeah.
All right. Do you guys play a 70% Aquino in this match in the final, Ryan?
I mean, you have to really go off of what the player says. Like, if they can give you good minutes, and it is a final, but then you would kind of sacrifice the weekend, I think, because if there's one thing I got to complain about with this whole, stretch of games here, is there's a lack of depth. Really, that's what we're kind of complaining about. And if you throw him in, he's not quite ready, and he plays, and he does play well, and he's like, but I might not be ready for the next game. That might be the sacrifice you make, because that game still was not completely out of reach after the first goal. You know what I mean? It was a mess up goal, and you can get back into the game. And like we were saying earlier, there was no like, hey, snap out of it. Like,
yeah,
it's a final. There's no, and I completely forgot there's no second leg. Like, I was like, oh God, this is there's still a chance. Like, wake up, So yeah, you kind of have to go off of what he would say. It's like, if you might have to sacrifice the weekend for him, So
I would have done it. I would have sacrificed him. Christian,
if he said he could play, I would have let him play.
AJ,
I wouldn't risk it for me personally. Nah.
All right, mini Solari over here. Get your. I feel like either way though, we're not gonna bring it down and say that because Aquino didn't play, America lost this game. Let's be realistic. There's a lot that factors into this. One, the Cáceres mistake, and I said we talk about it. Let's go into the details of it. What happened? Like, from a defensive perspective, I know, gentlemen, the only one that's ever played in the defense here is Brian. So, Brian, maybe you'll be the only one to be able to attest to this. But what happens in that situation? Does he get overconfident? Like, it's the most simplest ball to clear on his favorite right foot.
Yeah, I'm not sure what was the. I mean, he kind of slipped, but even if you kind of slip, any touch on the ball sends it in a little bit of a change of trajectory, and it's like, maybe you can scramble back and do something, but it's almost like the way he was slipping, his motor function was just shifted to stopping from falling. So it just was like one of those quirky, not top 10 Sports Center plays that rarely happens in a game to a professional at that level. You know what I mean?
And the one time it happens, it had to be against Monterrey, and it had to be against in the final. But the reason why I bring it up is because Cáceres is prone to these mistakes. We saw it against LAFC, where he gives the ball right to Vela's feet, right?
Twice.
Vela scores a goal twice. Then you see this mistake again, and now you're left here wondering, is he the defender we all thought he could be or was, Christian?
Listen, I still think he has potential to be so, just like Jorge did after he made his mistake. Yes, it's not the first time. Yes, he is still young. I would still take him over Bruno or Aguilera in this moment. It's just up to the player himself to kind of get that mistake out of his head. And I know that's easier said than done. But if he really, really, really wants to make a good impression on his teammates, the coach, the board, the fans, he will try his absolute best to try to erase that and be as good as he can for the upcoming Liga. Like I said, though, I still think that he is a good player. It's just very unfortunate that this had to happen to him and at that moment.
Well, I mean, for the meantime, right now, he is on timeout. I mean, didn't see even the bench against Cruz Azul. Yeah. And wouldn't be surprised if he only
Which is the right call. I don't think you put him in that match either.
No, he doesn't deserve to start. I don't know if he plays against Monterrey. We'll have more news on that, Christian. After what I saw against Cruz Azul, I might want him to play. But God, God, we're such
I mean,
terrible-
that's a moment of redemption, isn't it? And that's kind of a gift. You can get it that quickly.
That's
If
true.
he looks good, he completes really good passes and doesn't. Well, I don't think he's going to slip up like that anymore. You know?
Yeah, no.
Um,
Scores a hat trick.
I mean,
Yeah.
and then, if you can, maybe do something of the sort. But
Yeah, but there's no cup. There's no cup at stake this
yeah, I
time
know.
around.
Of course.
That's
you know.
that's the thing.
Look, it's a slippery slope that he has to go, and it's a mountain to climb. Let's be honest. I mean, George is still not even over that hurdle, and it's been what, 2 years. So it's gonna be a long ways up. But I mean, who's to say he can't eradicate those ghosts quickly? I mean, who's to say we don't make it to the who's to say we don't make it to the final? Who's to say he's not the person who scores the winning goal off a corner or something, right? Christian is the one already saying it, that he's not gonna score to save his life. But
We score off of corners.
yeah, only
The
on
OT my cheer for does that.
We haven't done that since
Do we even know how to send in
2018.
a corner? I don't think we have a player who even knows how to send in the corner.
Layun.
If we had
No, definitely not Layun.
Hey man, everyone says he can cross.
My
so-
man made one good pass to Henry, and then what did he do?
another good pass to Viñas. Or did you not watch the game on the weekend?
No, I
Exactly.
did, but that was after
the last-
the 20 missed attempts that he had.
he is
Which,
the
thank
last
you.
person
I brought it
I
up.
would even have for a corner, for taking a corner or even a free kick. Nah,
Well, look, ultimately, America wasn't able to pick themselves up after that. I mean, attack after attack that fell flat time and time again. Like you guys mentioned, the crosses were the worst idea you could have had. And I don't know why we were so reluctant to crossing when this America side has shown that we are capable of working the ball through the middle, that we're capable of doing 1-2 passes. Like, we weren't so reliant on crosses. This is in the Piojo era, right? And it felt like these guys just went back and kind of reverted to kind of factory mode and just kind of did what they were told to at first. You know, everything that Solari drilled into them were kind of just erased. And I think that was the most frustrating thing, is like no one's creating anything. We're playing long ball United, and we're just kind of falling into Monterrey's hands, really.
Yeah. Especially
And
when
I think-
Roger's on the wing and he's not even looking at the guy overlapping his run
Mhm.
and
Exactly.
just running into a defender, and now it's their ball. You know what I mean?
That's what frustrated me about Roger. Like, the man is probably one of the most talented players on that pitch, and he decides to look for a foul rather than try to take on players.
Yeah.
Like,
Just play with your teammates. That's all I want to see. He can get the ball back if he makes the pass and makes a move. You know?
exactly.
And
That
the
was
crossing
frustrating.
doesn't work. The crossing doesn't work. I mean, they were trying to look for some sort of good luck, and it wasn't happening. It just happened for Monterrey, you know?
Yeah. I mean, if we had Viñas on a little earlier, that would make sense. Right?
Just I don't know. It was a bizarre game.
It was. Second half, you thought, okay, they're going to wake up, and nothing really happens, Christian.
No, we come out. We have, I think, maybe 2 shots on goal in the second half. But there's no sense of you never had that sense that, like, oh my god, like, America can do this, or America's gonna score one right now. It was always like, shit, I really hope they don't score another one on us. And that was the frustrating part, because that's not the America I was used to seeing in recent years. And every single time where we were at the brink of elimination, you always felt like we had a chance, and it wasn't over until the whistle told us it was over. But in this game, it was just completely different, and it hurts me to say that, because I'm usually one of the more optimistic ones, and even I didn't feel like America had the will enough and the courage enough to kind of get back in there and score one to try to get another one or extend it to OT. Very upsetting. It's just a mental thing as well that I think the team has to work on, and just disappointing to say the least.
Yeah, to say the least. And the substitutions that came in didn't really change the face of America at
None of
all,
them did.
right? And that's the most frustrating thing about it too, right? You bring in on these substitutions, hoping that they can change the tide. Everyone fell flat. Which again, it kind of showcases exactly what has been going on. So I mean, well, America left it late, at least as far as drama goes. You know, that last minute
Yeah,
attempt
of course.
post, as always, against I guess Monterrey. It's always the post, isn't it?
Yeah.
We did get an attempt
And then
like
of
in the
course we
98th
had
or so
that.
minute.
Did
No,
they?
go on. Last
Oh no.
opportunity.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And you thought, okay, everything that happened, the potential handball, right? Which I don't know if you gentlemen thought it was, if it wasn't, but I'll tell you this much: we didn't deserve it.
Mm-mm.
You know, we didn't deserve it, and I think the right call was made in the sense that America didn't deserve to take this game to overtime. America didn't deserve the chance to try to win it, and that's a painful reality to come to because this is a side that, on paper, was the favorite. Let's be honest. Monterrey was coming slacking, 4 games losing streak. We knew that all could have changed against America because it always changes against America because whenever it's us, everyone likes to play their A game. And not to say that they were at their A game, but we were definitely not in ours. And I think Miguel put it perfectly on Twitter. Miggy put it in the sense that we died for nothing. No one out there tried to do anything. Not even Solari. I thought he'd be a little bit more adventurous. Take one of your fullbacks out and put in a striker. Go all in. Keep Roger and do something. And he decided to play it safe. That, I think, is the most frustrating thing about it. And I think that's why a lot of people are mad at Solari right now, Christian.
Yeah, and rightfully so. It's a final. When you see you only have X amount of minutes left to kind of get back into this, you risk it all. Yeah, you lose to nothing, but at least you knew that in your power you did everything you could possibly done. And yeah, like you said, I think he played a little too safe. I think he felt like whatever was on the pitch could do it. But obviously, I'm with you there, Ivan. I really do think that he should have been a little bit more risky. Take out the whole back line and put in all offensive players is what I like to see. But I guess that's just not part of his game plan. And it's something I really hope he changes in the league. If it, oh God, I really hope we don't get to that
Oh,
point
God,
where
no.
we need to start sending 8 players into the box. But if it does get to that point, or if it does seem like a match is a little in the state of like halt, like the team's not going anywhere, then yeah, be a little risky. And who knows, it might pay out dividends, and it may be the start of something new that you didn't even know was there. But rightfully so, Solari does deserve a lot of criticism as well. And this is his time to kind of come back from that in the Liga as a revenge.
And you know what? Dylan said something very interesting in our halftime spaces. He said Solari already peaked with this team. And I think he's true. I think it's true. I think Solari has reached a peaking point with this team. And I don't know if it can get any better than what we've already seen. I mean, I know it's a little early to judge and say that, but
maybe with the roster at hand, but
yeah, with the roster at hand,
with the roster at hand for sure. And I think they have a slump, and they're not looking great. But as soon as the season ends and you're going to the next phase, like I think the team, as long as the team can get on mentally, I think they can turn it around, and that's going to be part of his job. Is that's on him, because in my opinion, my biggest criticism of him in the CONCACAF game, the final, was why were you not prepared for pressure? I don't understand, why were they so bamboozled, like confused, like who am I going to pass to? Back to Ochoa and hope he clears it. Like I don't understand that. That was really bizarre, especially for a team like you said should have been the favorite. This, you should be the powerhouse even on the road, and they didn't play like it whatsoever. So that's my criticism to him. And then just players just look too flat and doing silly stuff. But I mean, it just goes back to the mentality. If he can help them, end the season decent and head into the next phase, it's not over. This is not over by any means.
This team is so weird. I swear, this team.
Yeah.
So when you look on paper, you look at every single stat line. We should be clear of everyone else in this league,
Right.
and yet we are having conversations like this.
And rightfully so, because players can't perform to the level, then something's wrong there.
Sometimes just statistics. That's just it. It's numbers. Sometimes you gotta prove it on the pitch to really show what the numbers mean. And then when it came to that time, you're just like, so are these statistics true or not? It's true. But when you look at the team that's at hand, it's like, how did they even achieve that though?
How can this team ever achieve anything with Chucho Lopez on the pitch, KJ?
He did more than Cordova in my books in that match. He drew in.
Here we go.
What are you talking about? Cordova did nothing in that match. He did nothing. He did absolutely nothing. He actually drew in fouls. I think 1 or 2
Amen.
actually.
All I'll say is that at the end of the day, America ends up losing this one. Obviously, all of us are heartbroken. All I want to say is the same thing that Freddie Durant said. Ochoa deserves better. All right? This man deserves a lot better.
He's been playing really good. That's for sure.
He's been on top of the world right now. Man has been nominated. He's in the category for the top 20 best goalkeepers in the world. And he's part of that. The man deserves better.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, that's the story of his career. I mean, he's always kind of deserved better.
Yeah.
He deserved. Just it's hard to get a player like that.
Hajasio, anyone? How painful it was for him to be there?
It was terrible.
But man, save after save. Look, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, we fell flat, and our performance definitely proved that we have yet a mountain to climb whenever we have to face off against adversity. So, anything else to recap before we kind of wrap it up here in regards to the CONCACAF Champions League final?
I'll say this: it hurts to lose that for sure. But I know that I don't know if this is unpopular or not. I would rather lose then than to go to the Club World Cup and completely fall flat on your face because you didn't have the depth and you had a game like that against a team from somewhere else that just walks over us. You know what I mean? That might be unpopular because it doesn't get you a title, but now we can focus on the next step of this season. You know what I mean? If Monterrey looks good, then that's great for them. Credit to them. They looked, they looked good, in the past. So I just would have felt worse if like you barely win that game and then just get trounced in another, cup.
Which hasn't happened. Which has happened to America before. Let's not forget. Let's not forget it's happened to America. Yeah. But alas, that does it. America again has to wait yet another season to try to obtain the CONCACAF Champions League. But in order to do so, we have to get into a final, gentlemen. So we'll see how that goes. Or at least, for this upcoming one. And then once League Cup comes around the corner and all that shenanigans, that's a whole different way.
Yeah, I don't even know how to qualify anymore.
No, I don't.
It's so confusing now.
We'll do the research. We'll do the math.
Just existing, you're in. Just exist as a club.
Yeah.
Well, the reality is, I don't. With this squad, we would have done nothing against Chelsea. I'm just saying. That's the truth, the reality of it.
And with Liga MX teams looking really good the last 3, seasons of that cup, I don't want to be the one that has a 5-0. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, that's just kind of the reality of it. Chris saying, I'm ready for the off-season. Me and Ivan are starting our Vela to America agenda.
Oh, here we go again.
Okay.
I'm gonna start that GoFund. So make sure we'll send out that link afterwards. Any donation is very much appreciated as $1 gets us closer to Carlos Vela.
Well, at least Cáceres could pass to him on the right
makes sense to me though.
That's
Comments
true.
like that don't make sense to me. I'm ready for the off season. We still have a whole league yet to play.
But we don't have the players to make.
We still have a whole league yet to play.
I don't know, man.
We've been the number one team in the league
right now
for about.
But we didn't play like
13 weeks.
But we haven't played like it. That's the reality of it.
We're still the number one team in the league.
And I think someone put it perfectly. So Ladi's football, at least managerial style, is more for a long tournament like the Euro League, not a playoff or finals.
He has the
And
experience.
and is that wrong?
Fine tune whatever the hell he needs to fine tune. And
I get it, he's still a young manager, right? Still plenty of room
learning.
for him to grow and learn. But he's got to figure this out soon. Now, we're coming up against Monterrey. That's the last week. Doesn't matter if we win or lose. We still secured first place. Now, the real question is, we're going to be out almost 3 weeks without any football. What is that going to look like? What is that going to do to us? Is that going to be a blessing in disguise, or is it yet again going to condemn us?
It's happened it's already happened in 2 seasons, 2 past seasons. So
Something's got to give here for America. I don't know what, though. I really don't know. But alas, let's jump into this Cruz Azul game. Brian, it was the happiest day of the year for you. What wasn't the happiest result for America?
No.
What went wrong on Halloween?
We got a trick.
Definitely got a trick. Did not get a treat at all.
did not get a treat. Definitely not.
no treats.
No treats, and it was a big
No
trick.
Kit Kat for us. No Sour Patch.
And I thought the result was going to be 1-1. I mean, and I was like, all right, fair enough. And then just a heartbreak. It just closed that out. You know what I mean? And the hilarious part of it was a lot of extra time, which is what we were looking for in the previous game. Like, just get that one moment where you can just the ball goes haywire. You can get a shot on it or whatever. It's just like. Yeah, it was like the reverse. So it was a big trick for America.
Christian, you alluded to this game being a little bit better than the Monterrey one. I don't know. I don't know if it truly was that. I still felt this America side looked flat at times and non-responsive.
Well, let's back up a little bit here. We did go into this game with altered lineup. So to your point, yes, I still think this team was very lacklusterous. But in the terms of at least attempting to do something, this team looked a little bit better in this game than in last game. Because we actually scored in this game. And it just seemed like more players were involved in trying to make something happen. It's unfortunate that another defensive mistake at the dying moments of the game had to cost this game, because I really think this game should have been a 1-1. Even though I think Cruz Azul did play a little bit better than us, I still think we did enough to merit that draw. But like I said before, it's just I don't know what is wrong with the defense and why on earth would you make that play? It just did not make sense at all.
Yeah, I don't know either. I wish I could tell you, I really do, but I don't. But alas, what did you see, AJ?
Boring. It's like almost. I feel like almost with most America games this season. To be honest, I'll say it here right now. I maybe watch games until the 65th to 70th minute before it's a snooze fest for me at that point, because sometimes nothing exciting happens. This Clásico didn't really feel like a Clásico to me, honestly. I mean, we had goals. Yeah. We had drama happen. This time on America side, things on making a really dumb foul in the box and cost us the game. So I don't know. Like, lost our words really in this game.
Is it just a bad stretch of games, like you mentioned, Christian? Is it really just that?
Yes, honestly, I do think so. Every team goes through this, like I mentioned in Spaces. It's just obviously, of course, only to us, right? It would happen in this moment of the season, right? And when there's a final included and when there's a Clásico, right? Every team goes through this. And now it's up, like Brian said, it's up to Solari to kind of get these players rounded up. Listen, guys, we had a shitter of a week, and it was probably the worst week in most of our lives, but we have to try to find and work these next couple of weeks. We still have a whole league yet to play. We are still the number one team, the favorite to win this thing. We have to go in there and prove to the whole league that we are American. We can come back from anything. And I truly believe that players get right, if players start to not make defensive mistakes, to not give the ball in the middle of the field, to not slip, to not do whatever, this team can go somewhere, but it's only up to them, and it's how far they want to go. It's how far we'll get. It's not going to be easy. It's never easy with us. Even though with whatever was just said, we're probably going to see another game where we're going to be sitting up and screaming at the TV at the 97th minute. We're going to see at least one of those games in this Liga. I just hope it's in the later rounds than in the early round, because I really don't want to go eliminated again in the first round.
We can't. We really can't. And Brian, I think you put it perfectly. I think, if this America side salvages this point, that's a positive for Solari to spin, Not so much, because what real positive can you take away from this?
Well, adding on that, I mean, just getting a chance to play the team we just had a loss to. I know it's not the same result. I was going to move into something I was going to say. I have like a kind of a positive theory on the boring play. It's like Solari, and I think this team felt that bitter end to the previous season, because I think, they felt like they could get through. And once they kind of secured their spot, I think that's maybe they were just kind of taking the foot off the brake to avoid, because there were so many injuries last season, so many, just totally ruined, so much momentum. Maybe there is a little bit of a, let's just cruise, even though there was a final. I know that you never want to lose one, but let's kind of just cruise this until we go, to the next phase, and let's turn it on. And then that's when Solari really, puts that message in, we had this, we could have gotten much better of a result last time around. So let's do it this time around. Yeah. We don't have as much, turmoil, so let's do it now. We finished in a great spot, and it's the Liga, just finish what you've been doing. And that's the positive spin on that I could, put on that.
Yeah. And there's got to be it's not easy finding optimism going forward, especially after these two results. But like you mentioned, there could be something positive on the horizon for this side. And I think that's the one thing that you kind of have to have perspective on. And I know we say it all the time, but maybe this might be a blessing in disguise, this international break and repechaje, because I feel like these boys need to get their head back in the game. They need to focus somehow, some way.
I think what better way to do it? I think it could be a good thing. I mean,
me too, honestly. Just this mental break for most of these guys is going to be a really good thing. A fresher mind going into the Liga. I think this might be the blessing. I'm leaning more to that it could be a blessing in disguise than hurting us like last season.
We'll have to wait and see. Anything particular you guys want to highlight from this Clásico Joven, or do you guys think that we've pretty much covered all bases on this one?
Jordan Silva played decent once again.
And that's the narrative, right? He continues yet again to be decent for this America side. And a lot of talks as to whether or not he's going to get bought out and brought into the club officially. I don't think he should. I don't think a couple of decent games merit that. But again, we know our board and we know how incompetent they can be. So wouldn't be surprised if they make the wrong move yet again. So, but hey, Brian, that's something that you're well aware of, right? Incompetent boards.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
But hey, it is what it is, and we still yet to see how to appease these sports gods. And by the way, we have that tweet out if you guys want to go vote already. I just posted it. I don't know why it posted like that. That's a terrible post. I'm gonna find a better way to publish that tweet on the comment section. But in the meantime, while I do, gentlemen, anything else before we wrap it up here?
I still have optimism. I'm not quite done yet.
I was never done. I'm with you there, Brian.
I like it. But there's the link down below, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys want to vote as to who we are sacrificing to the football gods. As of right now, I'm winning. I don't know if that's a good thing.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see what the result is at the end of the day. But we move on. America hopefully sees the last of its last. Hopefully, it sees its last bad game, or at least this stretch of bad games, and we can move on and talk about something positive for once. And Jerry Sanchez asking Vinas to start over Henry after that performance. I think that's up in the air. I think that starting 9 role isn't secured by anyone at all. So we'll see. Chris saying voted Christian because AJ is overly optimistic and Ivan is as negative as me. We need balance, and Christian and his moja is bad luck. So there is the answer. But as of right now, don't worry, Christian. I am still being the one to get sacrificed. But moving on now. Before we move on to the last segment of this episode, I want to remind everyone that today's episode is brought to you guys by Foot Cult. And if you guys haven't done so already, make sure you guys check out footcult.com. Use the discount code EEP at checkout to get 10% off all Foot Cult products. They just had an amazing Halloween sale over there. Brian can attest to this. And keep showing some love. Keep showing some very well, patronism to Foot Cult as they're dropping some amazing gear, some amazing stuff. And again, we are honored to be sponsored by Foot Cult and to have an honorary Foot Cult member on today's podcast as well. Whose face is he swapping next week? You're gonna have to find out.
Could be mine.
Could be yours. Yeah, there it is. Could be. Absolutely could be.
We need another Ivan Pineda award for this Ligia.
Yes,
Yes, we do.
yes, we need another one.
And I want an Ochoa. I want Ochoa to be holding the trophy, and I could put.
Oh yes,
Pineda.
please. We'll have that. We'll have that
full
lined
circle. Full circle.
up. Absolutely. All right, gentlemen. Let's talk about the last segment here. America yet again having to face off against Monterrey. Brian, you put it perfectly. This is an opportunity to kind of quote unquote get revenge, right, from the game against them in the final. AJ, you put it perfectly. No cup on the line on this one, but I think something just as important is on the line for this one: integrity and some dignity, and some self-respect as well. It is on the line for these America players. They want so badly to erase the past that this could be a step forward for them if they're able to walk away with a victory. Christian, how do you do so? How do you see Solari planting himself, or at least how do you see Solari trying to reestablish that confidence in the locker room for this upcoming match?
I couldn't obviously
Christian,
even tell
you're
you.
muted.
It's just these past 2 games have been. I'm not gonna say like they've been playing with like how he's gonna approach this or how he thinks the team should play. But don't expect anything extravagant or spectacular. You're gonna see the same him trying to control the midfield and trying to play his game. Maybe you might see a 1-0, 1-1, maybe. But I think it's gonna be like any other Solari game. I don't think the players yet have recovered from a terrible week. And don't be surprised if we put out an alternative lineup like we did against Cruz Azul.
Well, I mean, looking at who's available, no Richard Sanchez or Pedro
No
Aquino coming
Pedro.
into this one.
Correct.
So, I mean, that alone already tells you already know what's gonna happen here. Chucho Lopez time, AJ. Oh,
Let's
God.
go.
So yes, we're going into this revenge game with Osuna and Chucho Lopez. So
Hey, they want revenge.
make with that what you will, okay?
Oh, God. I don't even know what to say to
Guns
that.
are blazing. We're going in. Fish.
I guess the only positive thing you can say for most people is Aguilera will not be there, obviously, due to the red card he received against Cruz Azul.
But that means Gasset is gonna be there. Oh, God.
Or Bruno.
And I think Jordan gets this game.
I think Jordan gets the
He
game
has
too.
to.
Screw it. Put
He's
Emilio
the only
Lara in.
level-headed one there. He hasn't been through anything yet. You put him in there, and then you listen. Like Brian said, maybe this is the revenge game for Cáceres, so you can slot him in there, or you slot in Bruno Valdez, who made the other mistake on Sunday night. Either way, you're getting one of them in there. So
Yeah. Any updates on Naveda?
he'll be on the bench. I don't think he'll start, and I don't think he'll play significant minutes. I think they'll just rather make sure he's fully recovered for the league. Yeah, so if he plays 5 minutes, I'm fine with it. Don't expect like 15 or 10 or 15. Like I don't think that'll happen.
Okay, interesting. Chris saying put Fidalgo in Richard's spot and put Cordova in Fidalgo's spot. That could possibly potentially lead to something, but again, we always see them clash sometimes. It never seems to work when you have Cordova and Fidalgo on the same pitch.
At this point, I'm willing to try anything.
Why?
Put you over the striker if you want me to. I really don't care.
Oh, let's go.
Let's just get our minds right for the
Roger's left back.
Roger left back.
No.
Whatever, man.
Luis
By the way,
Fuentes-
he almost was for a bit in that
Luis-
Monterrey match.
Luis Fuentes as a left winger. Luis Fuentes as
Yeah.
a left winger.
There we go.
That
Sure.
blistering pace he has.
No, but for real, like in this game, I don't think it's like, do you go for the revenge or do you kind of maybe do a little experiment and see if something can come out of it? I mean, that game's
I
open
take
for
it more like
right?
that, 100%.
You know?
It's better that way because at this rate, you might see who can maybe get McGrath for a starting spot. Not even just a starting spot, but just play more.
Mhm.
Or like a reliable player to come in when we needed some refreshing.
I highly doubt this, but to be honest, I saw Emilio Lara was available. He is a center back. I would not be surprised if towards maybe like a halftime or just towards the very end, he just gets some minutes. Because at the same time, do you really want to have someone like Bruno in, which you already know as well? That's kind of like a pick your poison kind of thing. You can have Gastas there. He's also great. Silva, I mean, he's having a good stretch. He's had a decent string of games, but I guess experimenting is honestly a way to put it because you already secured first place. You're already in the Guia, so at this rate, it's like there's not much at stake. You can go for the revenge win, yes, but
And this is a must win for Monterrey as well.
Right.
Yep. So it's really up to Solari really decide to what
And
he
the
really
last
wants
thing
to
we need
do.
is another injury.
Yes, that's 100%.
That's what I'm saying. So
Mhm.
So here's
And
the thing.
and they're going to be pressuring again.
and
Remember,
they're gonna
like,
be pressed. They need the win. They need the win. They want to get top 4 as well. They need the win.
so how do you
Don't
respond?
give them the
That's
win.
what I want to see.
Yeah, don't give them the win.
Yeah.
Exactly. Don't give them. Make them go to the repechaje. Exactly.
But yes,
Let him
Yeah,
go.
you
Let
can-
him go on a losing
exactly.
streak.
Yeah.
the
That's
thing
an-
is, I think
It's a
That's very out of
it's a
Solari
turnaround,
character.
You know, if you can make them, it's not, you don't get a cup out of it, but you could spoil their party.
yeah, right. You definitely could. We'll see. But it's very out of character for Solari to experiment in that sense. The way that
Yeah.
we're kind of lining it up. Would I be happy to see it? Yeah, I would. It's something new, something different, and this is America side needs a little shaking up. And who's to say that this game isn't that? Christian, do you have your predicting start 11 for us?
I don't actually. I don't have one.
All right, I'm gonna go with mine.
Go for it, baby.
Since we're already experimenting here, I might as well go and do this here. I'm going with a Ochoa and goal. I'm going
Okay.
with no reason to risk anyone, right? So I'm going with George Sanchez. Miguel Ayun on the right. Luis Fuentes on the left. Going with Jordan Silva and Sebastian Cáceres. I'm going in that center defensive mid, holding. Oh God, I can't believe I'm saying this. Chucho Lopez. In that
You wouldn't put
midfield. No, in that midfield, I'm going Fidalgo and Cordova. On the right hand side, I'm going Roger. On the left hand side, I'm going Chava Reyes. Up top, Federico Viñas.
I could see that for sure.
It could actually happen, honestly.
I mean, if we're gonna be experimenting, right? Why not put Cordova and Fidalgo in there, see if they can work out their differences?
Fine by me.
Yeah.
Fine by me.
And I mean, you have Monosuna to switch it up at halftime if things aren't going in your direction. But I like you said, I think you need to find a way to weather the storm and also be able to create one going forward. And this is a game where you try to work out those kinks in where going forward needs to actually start working out for you. And so get some of your more creative players out there and let them have the ball and hopefully try to maneuver something. So we'll see. I mean, you guys pretty much put it perfectly, right? This is a team that has to go out there, play a little different, find a way to, weather that storm that we talked about, the pressure, because they're going to play the same way that they did against us in the final. They're looking for that early goal because they know that America struggles whenever we concede first, especially early on in the match. It's like for some reason we think the game's over already when there's still 75 minutes left. So we'll see. What is the one thing you want to see, Brian?
Well, I want to see, and I expect pressure. I want to be able to see passing out of pressure. I don't want to see resorting back to Ochoa just because you were uncomfortable. I want to see some sort of like creativity out of it. I mean, you're first in the league for a reason, and I just want to see a little more urgency. I'm not talking about like don't play. You don't need to. Again, I'm not talking about do crazy tackles or anything like that. But I'm saying like, let's see you feel like this is your chance to, exercise some of the demons from that not that long ago, just very recently. And like I said, you get to spoil the party, finish in a comfortable spot. It's all there on the plate. The plate's there, So, it's their chance to eat. It's just you got to show up to the table.
Agreed. 100% agreed. Christian?
Yeah, no. Just go in there with the sense of how to play football is basically all I'm trying to see. Demonstrate to us that there is still hope in this team. That that players still have that mindset that we can go out there and prove something in the league. Yeah. I'm not expecting them to dominate the game. It's we're not really used to seeing this Solari team dominate games. But if you can just show me that you're competent enough to string a few passes together or make the game at least interesting, even after being defeated 2 times in the most heartbreaking way ever, that'll give me enough hope for us to lift the 14th this season. So go out there and actually play like you actually mean it and like you have heart, and we'll talk again in 3 weeks.
Yeah, we will. AJ?
Just try not to look dead out there. Really play football, have some fun. Really, it's the final game of the season. Finish it off strong. It's really all I want to see from this club.
All right, interesting. Well, with that said, I want your guys' prediction for the match. So I'll go in reverse order. AJ, scoreline prediction.
1-1.
1-1. All right. Christian?
0-0.
0-0. I love it. Clean sheet. Brian?
I was going to go 1-1, but let's go 2-2. But I'm going to think America's going to have 30% possession.
Oh God. We're a very possessive side.
That's a first in the Solari era.
That would be the first.
Yeah, we're a very possessive side. Well, even in the final, which is weird.
Yeah, but they got their goal. That's the difference. That's so true. if we're able to fend them off, I think they're going to continue to try to hammer down America as much as they can. But I'll say 2-2 just to make it a fun game to finish the season.
All right, I am going to be the most optimistic Americanista out there. I'm going with a 2-0 America victory. Ooh. How it's going to come, I have no idea.
He likes a clean sheet. He wants that clean sheet.
Oh, I want that clean sheet so badly. You have no idea. Want to try to win Best Goalkeeper award again, but for the league. Yeah, I'm going 2-0, being the most optimistic person. Brian, if that result comes true, can you face swap me and onto Solari's body, just so that way people know that it was me who knew and believed all along?
Yeah, I think I could cook something up.
All right, perfect. Well, look, this game is Saturday night, right? America's going to be hosting Monterrey. That game's at what time, gentlemen? 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time or 5? Let me double check my notes here. 6 p.m. I forgot. Time change. Not happening for us until Sunday, so.
Yeah,
6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 9 Eastern, 8 Central. Eastern. Weird time going on right now. But yes, you guys can watch that match. AJ is going to have you guys covered on all of that over on Twitter's, gifts, goals, all of that and more. Brian's going to have you guys covered with all the face swaps that happened within the game itself.
And hopefully fun replays, like fun, good stuff.
Yes, and fun, good replays that Brian is always ready on. And to the end, it's got to stop with some of their bad replays.
Oh, they're so bad sometimes.
Unforgivable.
I could count at least 4 times in that Cruz Azul game. They were showing replays, and the interesting play from either side was happening, and we couldn't see it until after the fact.
College football even puts a replay at the bottom, so the play that's live is still going.
Like,
why don't you do that?
I don't understand.
Why can't Tulane learn? Why must they put us through this? And then they're well, I mean, I haven't seen this in a while, but it irks me so much whenever they're aquí and all that thing starts. Like I don't want to know.
Yeah.
Oh God. But yes, unfortunately, we have to litigate with that, and we'll see whether or not Tulane smiles or frowns upon us. But look, before we go, I just want to remind everyone that if you guys haven't done so already, make sure you guys go vote over it to see who we're sacrificing to the soccer gods. As of right now, I am still winning. I don't know how I feel about that, whether I'm happy or whether I'm not. But a couple votes in, 56% say Ivan, 18 tied all the way between Christian and AJ, 6.3% others, and our good friend Miggy has said he has volunteered himself as tribute.
Well, I need him around, so he cannot be going nowhere.
Oh yeah. So I think by default, I'm winning. So if that must be the case, if you must sacrifice me in order for America to win the 14th, I would gladly do so.
Wait, this comment is so true. Like the one that Jerry just posted, like that is so true.
Oh, he's saying aquí y ahora, and then they show some depressing starting for the goal.
Like,
oh yeah,
Like half-sign depressing. Oh, now here's the goal. Be happy now. It's over.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thanks,
man.
guys.
No, yeah, that's 100% true.
if you're just a fan of Liga MX in general, this weekend's gonna be a lot of fun. Actually,
Yeah, a lot of games.
there's a lot of games here that can decide what the matches are gonna be.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll see what repechaje looks like, and that should be interesting and exciting on its own. And then after that, it's international break. So, gentlemen, our national team is gonna have to go into the States and fend off against our noisy neighbors. It's gonna be interesting. Alas, some of our players will be featured in that matchup, and we'll see what the story tells. But until then, we'll keep you guys up to date over on Twitter. So make sure you guys go follow us at Eagle Eye Podcast. Make sure you guys go follow our host at Brian Carnicero. He takes face swap requests. So it takes about 3 to 4 standard days, but he'll get to you eventually.
Yeah,
Fire.
I'll get it.
So. Well, gentlemen, anything else before we wrap it up here?
Don't lose hope. Don't lose hope, guys. It's bad stretch. We're still gonna win the league. You heard it here first. We're gonna win the league. Ivan doesn't think we're gonna win the league. Brian thinks we're gonna win the league. AJ, I have no idea where because you're still so back and forth sometimes. I don't even know. I'm gonna stick you with Ivan, right? I'm gonna stick you with Ivan, even though you're mainly the more optimistic one here. I just feel like I'm getting this vibe from you that like you can do it. We can do it. America from you can do it.
No, they can't.
No, they can't do it. No, never mind. That's too much.
No, we can't.
No, that's too much. Okay, well, we can do it. The men's team will win the league this year.
We'll win 1-0 every single game. 1-0. We'll go through it.
That's all it takes.
Man, that's a clean sheet. And I'm taking it.
Way of winning a title. 1-0s.
That's all it takes. I'm completely fine with that.
I will be happy.
Guys, take it easy, all right? We have 3 weeks to Ligia, and I think we'll get our minds straight.
Look, we win the league, so let's win the Ivan Pineda trophy to prove it wrong.
That trophy is all that matters.
That is what's on the line, and I hope that's what is going around Coapa. They're just kind of like, you boys, it's on the line. It's on the line. Let's do this.
We should just hack just the official account. Just nothing else, just to post that.
Yep, that's it. We'll work on that.
Yeah, we need to hire.
Hit us up, hackers.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I mean, no, don't do that.
No.
I rescind that comment. But yeah. I have optimism. I don't know if they will win, but I think there's still fire with these players, especially from last season, and they know the fans are not happy about recently. So I have optimism.
Look, talk to me in 2.5 weeks, and I can probably tell you whether or not I'm optimistic or not again.
Yeah,
we'll see. A lot rides on this weekend as well. But again, we'll be back after a quick short hiatus and to recap not just what happens in Monterrey, but to look ahead as to what's going to be going on in the world of Liguilla. Who will be our opponent? We won't know until a couple of weeks.
Next time we come back, we won't even know.
Exactly. But yeah, we'll keep you guys up to date. Make sure you guys follow us on Twitter and everything, and we'll have you guys all covered there. Brian, we just want to say thank you so much for hopping on the podcast. We know it's been a minute. We missed you, and hopefully we get to have you back very, very soon.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Jeff.
Of course, always make sure you keep swapping those faces like no one else does.
Absolutely.
Gentlemen, you guys have a wonderful time. Everyone that came out here, thank you so much. You guys stay safe out there, wear your masks, and as always, arriba la America. Good night.
Ladies and gentlemen, this was another production of the Eagle Eye Podcast, the #1 source for all things Club America in English. Make sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Eagle Eye Podcast and get all the latest news and coverage